Welcome everyone to the community update of March 2026. Looking forward to this update, and we will start in a few minutes once more people have the chance to join.
Also from my side, a warm welcome. Great to have you all here. We hope you had a great start into the spring. In case it's already spring wherever you are, at least in Germany, we're getting some first sun rays now. Compare perfectly matching to the spring. We also have some great news for you guys. Excited to see what you think about it.
Hello and welcome from my side as well. Really looking forward to hearing and seeing all your feedback. We're going to share a couple of nice things. I'm going to have a little different update this week, but let's wait for everyone to join and then let's jump right into it.
So hi everyone, excited to share some updates from marketing with you all and hope you guys have had a great weekend.
Again, while we wait and before we start, we hope you're all in a safe place, you and your loved ones. Troubling times, that's not going to be the topic of this week, but definitely needs to be mentioned. So we hope everyone's safe out there, and our thoughts go out to everyone affected by all the strange things happening in the world at the moment.
All right. I hope everyone had a chance to join now. We will just quickly turn down the music a little bit. And let's start with the community update. So let's first walk through the agenda for today. Alex will provide a general and more customer-related update. Then I will go through a few things around Maxi, something that was brought up in our Discord. And then we will walk you through our product updates. Kai will also give a short update on the blockchain and validator situation. And then at the end, we will have a little more personal note from Christina around things marketing related. And with that, I will hand the mic over to Alex to go through the marketing update. Or, apologies, the general and customer update.
Perfect, Lucas. Thank you very much. Yeah, I thought let's have a different approach this month. So I'm going to just give you a little update about where we stand, strategy, and our approach to it. So we are approaching a clear vertical focus, and what we are focusing on is being infrastructure for capital intermediaries. So maybe to put it a little simpler, essentially what we're focusing on are organizations that sit between investors on one hand and projects seeking financing on the other hand. Traditionally, this has been banks, this has been big financial intermediaries, but with platforms like ours, or specifically with the ONINO platform, we enable any kind of company to become this. So it can be a small bank, but it can also be a real estate company that has a big investor network. It can be a group of companies. It can be investor groups. Essentially, everyone with the ONINO platform is able to provide such a platform and to, on one hand, offer investments, but also structure them and also earn through the supplying of this platform. And a couple examples of our clients at the moment are banks, real estate platforms, ESG project financing structures. In general, project financing platforms, we have university alumni investment platforms, just to name a couple. And we have many more at the moment and also coming up. Understandably, for you, it is white label, so we cannot disclose all the clients and all the projects that we have, but you can rest assured that the ones that we can talk about, we'll talk about, and that the user base and customer base is growing a lot. And essentially what ONINO does for those clients is that we enable them to structure, manage, and distribute capital digitally and compliantly, just to put it very simply. And to go a little more into sales traction specifically, if we look at the platform and the closed deals, because I think those are numbers that can be interesting to you, we have more than 200 companies that are currently in our sales pipeline. And this really includes hot leads. I think we've been talking to, if I do quick maths in my head, between 3,000 and 4,000 people. This, of course, is very loose. It includes just a contact here and there, conference, etc. But if we look at companies that we're really in deeper talks, it's more than 200. And we have closed 5 deals already in 2026. So I think we're starting the year pretty well, and there's going to be much, much more to come. We expect much bigger numbers, but we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So we'll say, let's see. But it's definitely going to be a big year for many platforms. And the platform is evolving a lot. The platforms and how they connect will evolve as well. So there's a lot to come. And we have also many more advanced discussions that are moving toward implementation. So we will share information about the platforms that we can once we can. And like you see, the momentum is really building. The quality of conversations, conversations is increasing as well. In the beginning, of course, people didn't really understand, and it was hard to grasp what is ONINO doing with this platform and what does it enable. And the more we offer it, the more clients we have, the more examples we also have, and the more people understand how they can use the platform. And we really see real demand for structured digital financing infrastructure in more and more different markets and verticals as well. And this also changes what the market is asking for, because companies don't really ask anymore, can we tokenize something? Or let's be honest, they have never, most of them. There is some crypto companies that we talk with that really have the background in crypto, in tokenization. That's what they ask for. But most companies in the Web 2 don't ask for what can I tokenize and can I tokenize something? They want to understand essentially, and that's the problems that we're solving, is how can we structure an investment efficiently? How can we manage investors and projects in one system? How do we stay compliant? How do we scale? And that's exactly the questions that we're answering with a white label infrastructure, and where ONINO essentially, delivers the biggest value. And to paint you the strategic direction for 2026, we have, or I will name 4 priorities, and there's more. One is to scale institutional white label partners. The other one is to increase recurring SaaS revenue, because this is really what's important for ONINO as a company. To expand the asset volume on the platform, which also means on the blockchain, and to strengthen the secondary market capabilities, which really makes the whole platform enticing, and which will also strengthen the use of the ONINO blockchain, the ONI token, and all this essentially to strengthen the whole ONINO ecosystem through the ONINO tokenized financing platform, the solution that we're offering to our clients. And the goal really is clear. It's to become the infrastructure layer for organizations that coordinate capital. Yes, it's pretty broad, but if you understand what this means, this is really also where we want to get to. So to end it maybe on a personal note, the market is maturing. Real players are looking for infrastructure and not hype. And with a growing pipeline, closed deals, stronger positioning, we're really building long-term foundations. And there's much, much more to come. So those words don't mean a little. It's really the start of something very big. How big, I think none of us can tell. But it's really, really nice to have been on this journey, to have you on this journey if you're listening to this. So thank you very much. And we're just writing the first letters, and there's much, much more to come. And it's pretty big. You're going to like it. And with this, I'm going to hand over to Lucas.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. Now let's transition to the next topic. And I first want to cover one thing that was brought up by the community, and we wanted to address this in this community update. And that is the currently ongoing situation with MEXC. For everyone that was not involved and has not seen it on Discord, we've received a notice from the exchange regarding some issues around the trading experience of the token. And primarily, there were 2 things noticed. We can't go into full details, but we can, of course, cover the direction of these things that need to be improved. And that's on the one hand, the organic holdings on the exchange. So the amount of tokens held organically on MEXC itself, and then the organic traded volume. We can't cover everything fully detailed, as we, of course, are obliged by certain contracts to keep some things private. But we can assure you that we have contact Maxi directly. We have a group with them. We are chatting with them to resolve the issue, and we are also actively working on resolving these issues with some of our partners. So we are quite confident that the more or less not so nice message that pops up when you visit the exchange will begin soon. Now let's go to more interesting and, let's say, more fun topics. And that is a new website for ONINO, with the transition and with the market, as Alex covered, being ready for tokenization, and also looking not only for tokenization, but looking for ways to structure capital in Europe. We thought it would be time to launch a new website, a website that opens up the doors for so many more things, because we will focus on our most important use cases with this website. For example, our banking use cases for asset managers, and just general, more broad investment tokenization platforms. And it really will be an update where you can not only see, but you can almost feel how our platform will help you improve how you structure capital in the future. This is all aligned with our improved messaging and the more institutional tone, where we really want to be the key layer, as Alex mentioned before. So this will be going live in this week. So we will be sending it to you so you can click through. We also received some nice offers from the community to help us. So thanks for this, and looking forward what you say about the new website. Then let's transition to our general product improvements and tokenization platform updates. I will give you a broad overview and then hand it over to Kai to go more into depth. So we have completely improved our secondary market feature. So the feature that allows you to trade tokenized assets once you have invested for them. And the first client this will go live for is Relax, that we presented in the last community update. And there's also a tweet on Relax on our X. So if you have not seen that, feel free to revisit and give it a like. Then we also improved a onboarding for tokenized asset issuers, because nowadays tokenization in general, just financing and issuing financial products, is still very, very complex. And we just want to make it as simple as it can be. So that's where our onboarding is coming into play, where we allow any issuer to issue these assets quickly, easily, and without much prior knowledge. And I already heard that eventually we will also integrate AI into the onboarding and documentation features. So really excited towards that. And what you see on the screenshot on the right, we also completely improved the dashboard that we provide all our white label clients with. So this is their cockpit where they manage everything related to the platform, which the platform in itself is a highly complex and highly regulated system. And we are doing a lot of work to make this complexity abstract and allow them to have just a good time when tokenizing and financing assets in general. And Kai will now walk you through more detailed updates on the tokenization platform.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Perfect transition. Just to give you a bit of a context before we dive in. So as Alex has already said before in the really beginning, we're actually gaining some real good sales traction right now. And with all of these upcoming white label launches in the next weeks and months, our dev team in the last weeks has primarily been focused on even further increasing the experience of our ONINO white label tokenization platform operators. And I know that sometimes basically all of our talk about these operator admin features in the admin backend can be a bit hard to imagine for you as a community, right? Because obviously not every one of you can operate their own tokenization platform and see it themselves. So that's why we thought of a nice new little format. And from now on, we want to go in each community update a bit more into the details of the single features that our platform operators can use to give you a better insight, so you can have a better picture and imagine for yourself what it looks like to operate a ONINO tokenized financing platform. So right now, let's get started with the first feature I want to share with you guys on the next slide. So first of all, maybe the most important aspect that our administrators can configure on their own ONINO tokenization platform is the whole topic around compliance, right? Because obviously, especially when tokenizing in highly regulated markets like Europe, compliance is of utmost importance. So what our administrators can do here in the admin backend is a whole set of compliance configurations they can do. On the first hand, of course, they can define all of the investment documents, right? So as a platform operator, you can define all of the legally required documents that you would like to have on your platform. And you can also define where these should be shown to your investors, right? So for example, should they be in the general terms that you accept right when entering the platform? Should they appear in the investment process? You can define that on the level of the whole platform, right? So to say, for example, terms and conditions apply to the whole platform, but you can also define it on the asset level, right? So say, for example, hey, this asset here on my platform is a special case. I want to attach a certain document for this that my investors have to be delivered to their inbox. And second, what we see here on screen, this is maybe the second most important part after the investment documents, is the so-called questionnaire configuration. And now you may be wondering, what the heck is a questionnaire and what does it have to do with my tokenized investment? So if you have used any kind of investment platform before, say, for example, a stock trading app, whatever, the chances are quite high that you have been asked some questions, right? Like you know this probably from several onboarding workflows, something like, how is your experience with bonds? What is your occupation? And these all are, for example, are examples of regulatory questionnaires. Because just for certain asset classes to invest in, regulatory frameworks like, for example, MiFID II requires you as a platform operator to ask your users certain questions, for example, about your experience. And then you have to run an algorithm in the back end that determines if the user is likely appropriate for the investment they're about to make or not. And then based on that, you have to define certain risk disclaimers that the user has to accept. So say, for example, you want to invest into a highly complex, highly advanced tokenized financial product, and the questionnaire that you fill out yields that you have basically no experience or too few experience with such complex financial products, then you will be displayed a certain special warning. These basically questionnaires, how I like to call them, are a very important compliance requirement that the regulators have put up for protection of investors. With other platforms, this is often like quite intransparent for the operators of the platform. It's just baked into some opaque backend logic, but not with our platform. As you can see here, our platform operators can directly see at one glance in a super simple dashboard what regulatory questionnaires are asked at which point of the platform. They can even edit the questions if they want. They can even create custom questionnaires if they have any further information they have to or want to ask from their investors. So you see we have a fully fledged compliance management dashboard here that our platform operators can use to ensure that they're fulfilling all compliance requirements needed by their regulation. And then we can proceed to the next slide with a bit more visual topic that is not so regulatory heavy and complex that I also wanted to show you guys, which is the branding and content feature that we have on our platform for the operators. So as you can see here, when you operate your own ONINO tokenization platform instance, you don't basically have to text us and say, hey, dear ONINO team, I want to have a branding like that. You can define all of the branding of your platform totally on your own. Here's like a little excerpt from what you can do here. So for example, you can define the logo, you can just upload it as you want, and you can even customize the styling, right? You can define the colors of the buttons, the text, the backgrounds on your platform. You can even define your own border radius to ensure that your platform instance totally matches your brand's corporate design. And you can also customize, for example, all of the text that are displayed on the landing page, they're displayed on different parts of the application. You see, you don't have to contact us and wait for some changes to be made. If you want some changes to your tokenization platform's styling or branding, you don't have to go through a long process. That is as Lucas has put it so nicely before, a fully self-service experience here. And you don't even have to wait for us. You can instantly change the appearance of your own custom platform, which is super nice for you as a platform operator, and which is also very cool for us as ONINO, since this is a factor that makes us really, really scalable, right? So imagine, for example, you would have the styling for each white label platform hard-coded somewhere in the source code. That would be unmanageable once you have more than, for example, 10 different platforms. And with that is super easy for us to manage. People can just define their own styles. Each tokenization platform instance is responsible in managing their own branding and appearance. And we, as ONINO, so to say, don't have to take care of that anymore, which is a really, really important aspect in making our whole white label platform system scalable, right? Imagine, for example, you would have Shopify, to stay in the classical example, and basically anyone who wants to have a custom logo on their Shopify shop would have to contact them. They bake it into the code and then let them know 1 week later once the logo is uploaded. That would not work. That would not scale. So the exact same approach that Shopify took with a full self-service branding customization is also what we chose here to make our platform fully scalable. And yeah, as I mentioned, these were 2 little behind-the-scene glimpses that should tell you what the operators of our white label tokenization platform can see, what they can do. And we will continue with that little series here in the next community update to give you some more insights on what can be done when you run your own ONINO tokenization platform. And with that, I would hand over to the next slide, which is the blockchain and validator update. So yeah, as we have announced recently, you can just check it out on our latest blog post if you haven't yet. Our road to decentralization, how I would like to call it, is in full progress. And we have also linked the announcement here, and we're going to post it into all relevant channels later again, so you can have a look. Just a quick reminder, as we also have mentioned in the blog post, if you have stake with any validators different than 1 and 6, please also remember to migrate your tokens to a different validator. These validators will be shut down. And as we have also announced in our blog post, all of the early unlocking penalties as well as the missed rewards through unlocking from these validators that will be shut down will be automatically reimbursed. And the first run of this reimbursement has been run just shortly before this call here. So you should all, in case you were affected by this validator migration, find the reimbursement on your ONINO wallets now. And also a nice little spoiler here, as we also announced in the Path to Decentralization blog post, our first external partners will now be starting to run their ONINO nodes as a step towards decentralization. And as you can already see in a little preview here, the first nodes of our partner, CIDT, our long-term infrastructure partner, are currently being launched and spun up. And we will also keep you informed on all major events on that decentralization roadmap over the next few weeks and months. Yeah, with that, I would pass the ball over to Christina.
Hi everyone, I'll now give some updates on Discord and the raffle I talked about last update. So the raffle will officially be out on Wednesday. You'll be able to put your Discord username and wallet ID and receive an NFT. And NFT holders will essentially have benefits of discounts on future tokenized assets, as well as private channels on Discord, which will equate to fewer bots, and where I'll be sharing the latest news on new projects, listings, and sneak peeks before anyone gets to hear them on social media. So I'm well aware of all of the spam bots Discord has had. I've been actively banning them and developing a new system to filter them out better. It has been tricky to figure out because automod sometimes times out normal people too, but fret not, it will be resolved and your patience here is really appreciated. Just make sure not to click any suspicious links, and if you need help, the only way to open tickets is under the support category. Now going on to the next slide. So I've met some lovely people at the networking events I've gone to. There's always so many passionate people in London starting their own businesses, people that have extensive experience and knowledge. You always learn from others, no matter who you meet. I've connected with many financial advisors, wealth managers, and mentors. I'm actively in contact with this new network and scheduling lots of coffee chats with them for this week and the next. The aim here is really to create more qualified connections and partner with professionals in the UK market in order to scale ONINO and establish us as a leading tokenization platform here. And yeah, thank you so much for listening in. I hope you enjoyed my insight into my efforts this month. We truly are excited for the future ahead and what new partners and friendships it will bring. I'll now pass it back to Alex.
Hello. Thank you for passing it back to me or anyone else on the team. Yeah, I think we will say a big thank you at the end. Thank you very much for listening to this. Thank you very much for following ONINO, for being part of ONINO and our story and our way. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this update, and we'll hear and see you back next month for the next update.
Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you at latest next month for the next update.
Thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful rest of the week. See you soon.
Thank you, guys. Hope everyone has a lovely start to the month and a lovely rest of